Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Radiant Moon Tarot. My name is Victoria, and we have your full moon lunar eclipse reading here for you, occurring in the sign of Pisces, September 7th or the 8th of 2025. Just depends on what time zone that you're in. We're going to have a look at all of the energies that are surrounding this particular lunation. We're going to pull some cards for the collective, and we'll also look at each individual zodiac sign to see where this lunation is happening for you and why it might feel a little bit familiar. But I will put timestamps down in the description box and the comment section down below so that you can very easily navigate between your sun, moon, and your rising for this reading, because you're probably really going to have to get the big picture. Okay, both the sun's influence, the moon's influence, and we've got stuff coming up from the past, hopefully to shut the door on it forever. So do check your sun, moon, and your rising and see what might be moving and shaking in your world. But as I said, this lunation happens on the 7th of September. If you're in the Pacific time zone of North America, this is 11:08 a.m. If you're in the Eastern time zone, 2:08 p.m., so right in the middle of the afternoon. So obviously, North America, we're not going to see this lunar eclipse. However, if you're over in the UK, this is 7:08 p.m., and you just could see it. Okay, it should be visible, weather permitting, and of course, maybe depending on which coast that you're on. But if you can have an opportunity to see it, it might be pretty cool. If you're over in Australia, Sydney is 4:08 a.m. on the 8th is when this is going to occur. This particular full moon is happening at 15 degrees in the sign of Pisces. Now, Pisces does tend to be creative, a little bit dreamy in its energy, but also quite spiritual. So a full moon can be a little bit of an awakening for some of us, or we could be experiencing some sort of spiritual growth in this. So kind of be open. It's a great time to meditate. It's a great time to sit outside. I mean, it doesn't have to be right exactly when this energy is at its height. You can do it later on that evening, or maybe even early in the morning if you are an early bird. So sit under the light of the moon. Some people enjoy full moon energy. Eclipse, of course, is supercharged full moon, right? Some people love it. Some people, it makes them feel a little bit uncomfortable. All right. But if you do enjoy it, either way, it's a beautiful energy lighting up our night sky. I, for one, love the full moons. I don't run and hide with full moons. I embrace them. I bask in their energy. But I do know some people, one friend in particular, where she would just really want to just stay in bed for a couple of days and hide. But it is a good time to do some meditation, do some contemplation, do some releasing, purging, letting go. And that's the theme of this lunation. We can eclipse things out of our lives that just don't fit. It could be people, could be situations, it could be jobs, it could be your house, right? Maybe it's like, I can't live here anymore. I don't want to live here anymore. I'm not happy in my neighborhood. I don't like my neighbors, right? And so this can be like a catalyst turning point for some of you to make some change. And so a full moon and a new moon solar eclipse, which we'll have in a couple of weeks on the 21st of September, they are a catalyst for change, right? Full moon typically is, shutting that door, shutting that chapter, can be bringing something to fruition as well. And a solar eclipse, a new moon eclipse, is about bringing in the new or breathing fresh life into something. So, it does tend to be quite intense energy and sometimes a little bit unpredictable as well, because an eclipse can certainly shake things up in our world to get us back on our destined path. And so sometimes there's like fated events that occur. around this time, and we just don't quite see them coming. Our intuition might be telling us something, but we just can't quite put our finger on what that might be. And let's face it, sometimes people pull the rug out of their lives when we do have an eclipse. I used to live underneath somebody. I was in the basement suite, nice basement suite walkout. It was really beautiful, had a great view, wonderful, but whew, man, dude lived upstairs. He literally went nuts at eclipse season. And I told his wife, I'm like, you watch, in 2 weeks, he's gonna go like totally loopy. And she didn't believe me. I'm like, you mark your calendar. Sure enough, boom, there he went. And yeah, so I mean, I don't live there anymore, but anyways, but it's just really interesting how he in particular reacted to eclipse energy. And sometimes people can do that. So sometimes we need to go with the flow. Okay, don't resist things. All right, things become a little bit easier when we do kind of take a gentle approach, or we do go with the flow, because sometimes the changes that are going on aren't us necessarily. They can be people around us. So be open and receptive, and be that conscious observer as well, because someone else's business, someone else's letting go, right? Maybe someone walks into your workplace one day and up and quits, and you're like, whoa, but it could have a very interesting effect on you, hopefully for the better. All right, so, so eclipses can be a little bit unpredictable, but of course we can typically know a little bit about what's going on with a full moon. And of course we can look to the house that this is occurring in for you, which we will do. And we can pinpoint a more general area where this could have some sort of impact. This particular lunation may have a familiar feel. Saturn, who has been, happily trucking along with Neptune, they've both turned retrograde. Okay, but at the time of this full moon, Saturn will have dipped into Pisces. So Saturn is in Pisces again. Now, Saturn is, of course, can be a pessimistic planet. Saturn is a karmic planet. Pisces is a karmic sign. And Pisces ruling the 12th house, which is your house of secrets, your subconscious, your spirituality, the things that we keep hidden secrets, but also karmic endings. So with Saturn retrograde, there could be a chance for some final closure of a chapter, or for learning a very important life lesson that will bring you growth, bring you a little bit more maturity in some area, and perhaps give you a little sigh of relief as well. So Saturn has parted ways a little bit with its little buddy Neptune. Okay, Neptune does bring our spirituality and, have our head in the clouds sometimes. So, but Saturn is where we get real. Also retrograding here is Uranus. Uranus is in the sign of Gemini, and Uranus will retrograde in that sign of Gemini just a couple of days before this. So there can be a big energy of reflection, renewal, reassessing and reevaluating something in your life, and also just feel like go back to the drawing board. Have I missed something? Is there an important key element that I need to re-examine? Right? Or this is where we're like, okay, all of these outer planets have changed signs this year. Why do I still feel stuck? And this is where you may discover why you're feeling stuck. So when we talk about Saturn, we do look back to where Saturn was at the new moon that we had in Pisces 6 months ago, back in February. I think it was on the 27th. And we'll have the same house activating for you this time. So Saturn was there at the last new moon in Pisces, and Saturn will be there again in this full moon in Pisces. So a very big 6-month cycle. And you'll probably know exactly what has been challenging and difficult over the last 6 months. Okay, so Or it might have been your money. It might have been your relationships. It might have been your workplace. It may have been people around you, right? Whatever it was, here we are getting this final closure, or maybe even getting an opportunity to revisit and do have a second chance at something, perhaps. Now, Saturn, of course, the last time Saturn changed signs this year, right? Went from Pisces into Aries, okay? But now that it's retrograde here in Pisces, it'll stay there until February 2026, where it will settle down in the sign of Aries. But the last cycle that we had with Saturn and Pisces was from March of 2023 until May of 2025, right? So covering that new moon in Pisces period that we had. So, you know, if things feel familiar in some way, whether it's welcome familiarity or not so welcome, you know, look back on those couple of years, right? What was going on? What school of hard knocks were you going through? Okay. And this can be a huge healing moment for some of you as well, right? And again, look back, right? 2023, especially, you know, those earlier months, right? I know exactly what was going on in my life, right? And had some really big challenges, including death in the family and things like that, right? And, you know, so it's been a time of growth and healing and all of this. So hopefully this is like a opening door of an easier chapter. That would be really nice, right? And a lot of people are probably feeling that same way. So again, we do have some repeating things going on, but of course we have this opportunity here to heal, grow, move forward, and start fresh. We're hitting a cosmic reset in the month of September. There could be a catalyst for something for some of you. There could be some changes that are going on for some of you, but ultimately we have an opportunity to start over and to bring in some fresh energy and fresh perspective. So also with this lunar eclipse, we do have an opposition with Mercury in Virgo. So again, there could be something here where we're not seeing eye to eye. We've got this tug of war, this little bit of push and pull. If we communicate and keep the lines of dialogue open, then we can resolve something. But it could just be that maybe, you know, especially with a full moon, especially with an eclipse, right? A lunar eclipse. If you're at opposing forces with someone or something in your life, there could be a big blow up, a big shake up, and some big change. And it's like a walking away kind of energy. It's like, I'm done. And you may not necessarily walk away physically, mentally and emotionally, very possible. Okay. But if we can work together, if we can figure out how to work together, understand that we're not maybe going to ever see eye to eye on a particular subject or particular situation, and we accept it, at least in the present moment, then life can get a little bit easier. We also do have some wonderful energy. We've got Jupiter in Cancer making a trine here, and a trine is a wonderful energy. It's, you know, it's connected, it's supported. It can also be lazy. So this is where we kind of sometimes get in our comfort zone, even though Jupiter wants us to expand and grow. But Jupiter in Cancer can certainly be expansion and growth within your home, or some luck and things like that. But it can also be like, I just want to be in my comfort zone. Okay, so you know, so we can get a little bit lazy in that energy, but it feels good though, so it's not a bad thing. We do also have, let me see, what else do we have here? We have two quincunxes coming in, and now this is a blind spot. Okay, we've got the moon in a quincunx with Venus in Leo. Okay, we also have one with Mars in Libra. So there could be something that you just don't see coming, right, at this eclipse. It could be a person appears out of the blue. It can be an opportunity for something fun and interesting that you didn't expect. It can be some secret that comes to light, right? A quincunx is a challenging energy because we're forced into a situation where we have nothing in common with somebody, sometimes. And so it can be something in your workplace, right, where you're forced to work with somebody and you just can't communicate. You can't get on the same page. You're not even like, you know, on different sides of the page. You're just not able to see. If you know about like radar and things like that, radar or like satellites or whatever, we've got line of sight, right? And we've got a certain line of sight, but the quincunx, we're not seeing it, and the energy or the frequency doesn't quite connect. So it is a difficult aspect. It can be very challenging. All right, but if we again kind of take a step back and look and say, okay, how can I do this differently, or how can I deal with this person or situation differently, it can become a little bit easier. We can figure something out there if we're willing to. Okay, so I think that's probably pretty much about it for this particular lunation. There is a lot going on, and again, you know, we do have another eclipse coming up a couple weeks later. So if one thing can help us to navigate this energy, which can be explosive, it can be rewarding, but it can also be unpredictable, right? It can get shocks and surprises. The best way to deal with this energy is to go with the flow. Recognize that there are some things that are, yes, 100% within your control to deal with, to change, to get rid of, but also recognize that there are some things that are beyond our control, and we just need to let something play out, or we need to allow something to happen. Be that conscious observer. Be ready for action if we feel that there's a need to take some action, but otherwise just go with the flow. Resistance makes change and makes eclipses more difficult. Okay, and we don't want to make things more difficult for ourselves, right? We want things to be, you know, a little bit easier in our lives. So let's get a couple of cards here for the collective and see what the universe has to say. Thank you very much. And we've got the action card here. So yeah, it's time to take action on something. It's time to, and there's a full moon on that particular card as well. So it's actually a waxing gibbous moon, right? So just about a full moon there. And action. So, you know, have you been in your comfort zone? Have you been accepting something that's really not good for you? Have you been holding on to anything? Are you ready to make change? It's time for some sort of action there on your part. But this can also represent that there could be a lot of activity that is going on around you, around this lunation. And so be ready to take some action when the need arises, but other people could be doing some very interesting things and making some very interesting decisions at this time. Eclipses, some people have a lot of joy and abundance and wonderful things coming to fruition at this time. Other people, it is very much one of letting go, and sometimes in those unexpected ways. So just navigate the flow of energy. We've got the Knight of Cups. Follow your heart, heal, be open, be receptive, but be ready for action. Knights are always on a quest, right? Knights are on a quest for happiness and joy and love and romance and all these wonderful things that make our hearts sing, right? And so in your pursuit of happiness, following your bliss, whatever that looks like to you, no matter how big, no matter how small, this knight moves forward. This knight doesn't look back. This knight is like, I'm going to focus on the positive things. I'm going to focus on the things I want. I'm going to focus on abundance, and I'm going to focus on love and laughter and joy and all these wonderful things that make me feel good. Anything that is not in alignment with that, out the door, out the window, shutting the door on it, shutting the chapter. Thank you, eclipse. All right. The Knight of Cups can also represent that you may get some sort of gift at this time as well. You could perhaps have some sort of blessing that comes in, because the Knight of Cups can be someone coming in with some sort of proposal or an offer or help or gift, whatever it happens to be. Again, for some of you, depending on where this eclipse is going to fall, for you, this could be a new suitor. It can be some new love and romance. It can be someone all of a sudden popping the question, right? And our old ways of living are gone, and now we're embracing a little bit different of a way of living, right? Remember, we do have Jupiter in Cancer. And so this can be very wonderful, warm vibes, especially with your family, with your children, with your relationships, with your home, your private life, right? And so it can be really quite blessed and really quite wonderful. And again, we do have a wonderful aspect with Jupiter, and Jupiter is our most benefic planet. Always wants to bring us something good. Whether it's an open door, whether it's gifts and blessings, whether it's love and romance, whatever it happens to be. So embrace the positive, stay positive, look forward, and really release. Full moons are a great time to do those release rituals, right? Whether you work with water, whether you work with candles, crystals, whatever you happen to do, affirmations, right? All of those things. Cleanse and purge and embrace your new path forward. So having said all of that there, guys, I'm going to leave that there. There's a lot there. But anyways, we're going to move on to each individual sign. Again, your timestamps are going to be down below for you to see. And do watch your sun, moon, and your rising, and you will get the ultimate big picture for yourself and see what could be moving and shaking in your world. So I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful eclipse. We're going to get down to it and start with Aries. Hello there, Aries, and welcome to your lunar eclipse reading. This is happening for you in your 12th astrological house. Woo! Okay, so 12th house, full moon, big ending in store for you. Now, this can represent an end of a big chapter, a long period in your life, or maybe something that's just been relatively short-lived. Remember that Saturn has just left your sign, right? It's been there since it entered there May of this year and moves out just like the week before this eclipse. Retrogrades into Pisces. Now, when a planet leaves our sign, we typically get some sort of message. Sometimes we get a gift, not always with Saturn though, but we can get a gift of foresight maybe, or we can be drawn backwards a little bit into something from our past, whether it's from a year ago, a couple years ago, something earlier this year perhaps, right? So this can be an opportunity to get some closure. This can be an opportunity to revisit something to make sure that we have all the details that we need. This can, of course, be some very big karmic closure for some of you here as well, right? So it can be very intense. It can be very, very emotional. It can also be very enlightening, right? So you could have some sort of epiphany moment that happens around here. But this full moon encourages you to have a little bit of a timeout as well. Okay, full moon in your 12th house. You've been really busy. You've had a lot of things on the go. Had some planets land in your sign that you're not used to being there. Okay, and so if you've been feeling a little bit tired and worn out, burnt out a little bit, you're just exhausted, okay, great time here to take a step back, find some quiet space, do some meditation, and, just kind of be in the flow, all right? But your 12th house can certainly be about endings, okay, very big endings. Sometimes there, whether it's, a karmic release or something, or whether you're like, okay, yeah, this ain't working for me anymore. I can't keep on going like this into the future, and I'm done. I'm ready for a fresh start. We have resistance. Now, does this look like it's in the flow? No. Okay, we're resisting something. So you may have been trying to move forward with something, but you're met with resistance. You feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall, that you can't seem to get something off the ground, or maybe you've got something off the ground and that's where it's stuck. You could also be stubbornly clinging on to something from the past that is creating blocks and resistance in your current world, in your current life. So do you have to resolve everything today at this eclipse? No. Right? Pisces, Saturn will be in Pisces until February. So you have a little bit of, you have some time. Okay, you got some, you have a minute to get things done, or to, make some changes, make some very positive changes here. Okay, but, but you're probably going to come to a realization. It's in those times of peace and quiet and stillness when we do get those epiphany moments. We do get the answers we're looking for, because the answers are within, right? We always know. We always have an idea. We always can tap into some inner wisdom, right? And, so again, a little bit of quiet space may actually just be what the doctor ordered for you. So something here we're clinging on to. It's not healthy, though. It's not happening. And it's prohibiting our growth, right? It's, we're holding on with a fish. That fish there is squashing all those trees. They can't grow. They can't even breathe, right? And they're certainly not moving forward. So really have a look at that energy. Is someone creating resistance in your life? Is someone, kind of pulling you back when you want to move forward, right? So time for a little bit of release, or just time to let something go. Full moons bring forgiveness as well. Retrogrades can bring second chances. Okay, it's like, but I'll only grant this second chance if we work together, or if we resolve our issues, if we forgive and heal and let something stay in the past once and for all. We have the Ten of Wands. Okay, so you're ready to let something go here, Aries. Okay, so whatever it happens to be, a sense of overwork, overwhelm. Maybe it's just been a difficult chapter. Have you been having fun in 2025? Some of you maybe not. Maybe it's like, I want to move forward, but again, I've got a tug of war going on in some way. So the Ten of Wands can certainly represent the end of a difficult chapter, difficult cycle. You're ready for something new. And the great thing with the Ten of Wands, yes, it's a challenging card. We feel like we have all the burden, all the responsibility. We're overworked, we're tired, we're stressed out, right? But we never give up, right? Keep moving forward and you never give up. So for some of you, you're about to be rewarded for all of your hard work and effort and everything that you've put into something. Is it a project? Is it something just you personally? Whatever it happens to be. But some of you, your relief here will be in a new beginning, in letting something here go, because it's not healthy or happy for you. For some of you, you've taken on a lot of workload and responsibilities because you want something better. You're proving yourself, right? So, if you're looking at career paths or anything like that, then this can actually be really good for you, because you've been proving yourself, proving your worth. But for others of you here, this is like, okay, I'm done. Okay, so either something has to change, or I'm ready to move forward without all of this extra stress and responsibility on my shoulders, because it's just not working for me anymore. So we do have a sun shining on this Ten of Wands. Okay, so we've got, we've got our moon energy here, but we also have the energy of the sun. So between now and the solar eclipse that we're going to have in Virgo on the 21st of September, there could be some sort of epiphany or realization or some sort of decision that you are making about whether to carry something with you, keep on doing the same thing, either making some changes so that something's not as stressful, or letting something go. Those tens represent the end of a chapter, the end of a cycle, leading away to new beginning. Let you mull that over there, Aries. I'll leave that there for you. I thank you for watching. I do hope you have a wonderful and blessed lunar eclipse, and we will move on now to Taurus. Hello there, Taurus, and welcome to your lunar eclipse in Pisces reading. So this is happening in your 11th house, cleansing and purging your social connections, your social media. Some of you, it's gotten very loud, or maybe you've spread yourself too thin. So in this eclipse, we're taking care of business, cleansing, and purging. And so some of you could be going to your Facebook. You could be going to some of your other social media. You could be paring down your friends lists. You could even be closing down some of your accounts, because you're like, you know what? I don't have time for this anymore. This has gotten silly. All I ever get is ads. I can't even see my friends' feeds anymore, or perhaps it's just gotten a little bit overwhelming. You know, replying to people and staying on top of things, and you might be like, you know what? There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better life out there. So our 11th house can certainly be very social. And so whether it's online or in person, you could be shifting some of your connections, eclipsing some out, drifting some away, cutting some out of your life, maybe with a conversation, or perhaps that gentle parting of ways, right? It's like, oh yeah, I haven't talked to that person in 6 months, but then again, they haven't phoned me either. So, you know, so, and sometimes that's how we do drift apart, right? We just kind of lose that contact because our energy is no longer aligned. Okay, so, but at the same time, you could also be cleansing and purging some of your connections or social media to make room for something a little bit more interesting. So, the 11th house, though, is Aquarian energy. Okay, so people helping people. So again, you know, the people in your life that you're connected to, is it reciprocal relationship there, right? Do you get what you give? You know, or is it just one-sided? Is it transactional? So again, you might be looking to make some changes there. Simplify your life. The 11th house also does have to do with your wishes. It is Aquarian energy. It is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is just retrograded into Gemini just 2 days before this eclipse. Uranus is already in Gemini, so this is like the dawning of a new era. That hasn't happened for a long time. And so now it's retrograde. So we're rethinking things, we're reassessing things, reevaluating things, and maybe even for some of you, reviving a dream or an idea, something that we can put out into the world or share with others. Perhaps you draw inspiration from somewhere, right? Or maybe you've got this idea of something you want to create, something that's alignment with your future. 11th house, ruled by the futuristic sign, right? Futuristic planet. And you're like, okay, but to do that, I need to like get rid of some of my social obligations. So you could be doing that. But some of you, of course, can have something coming to fruition because your 11th house does have to do with your wishes. Did you wish upon a star? And some of you, your stars are aligning for you. So you could have something happening here that is in alignment with something that you have manifested into your life. So again, be kind of open and receptive. It's not a one-day event. These eclipses, they do last throughout the entire month. And even though this is a culmination of the new moon in Pisces from 6 months ago, right? It's not necessarily something that's boom, snap, crackle, and pop going to happen on the exact same day, right? Things still do take a little bit of time to transpire. And don't forget, on the 21st, we've got that new moon, right? New moon in Virgo. So this can be something that does impact your health, happiness, and well-being in your day-to-day life, maybe even something to do with your work. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. We've got full moon power. Woohoo! Look at that. Now, I will say, okay, so yeah, we got a big old full moon on there for you. Okay, this is also card 16. 16 does relate back to the Tower card in the tarot. And what does the Tower card bring? Release. Release of things that aren't working for you anymore to make room for something better, to make room for something new. Also helps to get you out of your comfort zone. So very interesting kind of correlation with that there. But we do have this full moon power. So draw down the power of the moon. Okay, use this eclipse cycle to your advantage, to heal, to cleanse, to purge. You would be very well served by engaging in some meditation or recognizing that there's a lot of things within your power, within your control. And sometimes we feel overwhelmed by too many people or too many things going on, right? You have the power to say yes, but you also have the power to say no. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we try and say no to things, and then we come up with a whole big backstory, a whole bunch of excuses, and too much information, right? You don't need to discuss all the ins and outs of all of your reasonings with people. You can just say no. It's a complete sentence. And maybe you can say, I'm sorry, but no, right? They come across a little bit more polite. But ultimately, the power is within you to manifest your dreams, to make changes, to say yes to things, and to say no or release things out of your life, okay? So this can be a very powerful time for you, very intuitive time for you. Again, it's the 11th house is where this is happening for you. And Aquarius and Uranus energy awakenings can happen for you, especially, you know, like aha moments, epiphanies, okay, but also spiritual awakenings as well. And Uranus helps you to free yourself and to get detached from the things that are inhibiting your growth. We also have the Death card. You're just getting it all. We got the Death card here as well. So it's Pluto energy. Pluto is in Aquarius. Okay, so 11th house energy, Pluto. And we do have retrogrades for you as well, because Pluto is retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. So, but we do have the Death card here, cleansing and purging, out with the old and in with the new, change and transformation and evolution that allows us to go forward. The Death card is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is, you know, essentially the mastermind or the director of sorts behind births and deaths and transformations and growth of all kinds. And sometimes, you know, Pluto is going to show you the path, show you the way, that your way to embracing your personal power. Pluto is also the planet of power, by the way. Okay. So, you know, but this is showing you how you can embrace your personal power to bring more positive things into your life and to make positive change. This is a great energy to come in. A lot of people are scared of the Death card, right? Because of what it can represent. Okay. And yes, it can represent an actual death, but it's more of a metaphysical or metaphorical death, right? Death of something that's not working, so that we can cleanse and purge and find something new, something better, something more in alignment with who we are or who we want to be or where we want to go. So embrace your power to change. And this can really be a good opportunity for you to really believe in yourself and trust in your own personal power. We do forget that sometimes, and sometimes life beats us up a little bit. But Saturn is saying, through the power of change or through things that have come to an end, you have grown exponentially. And now it's time for you to move forward. So I'm going to leave that there for you, Taurus. I thank you for watching. Think about what you want to change or what you want to eclipse out of your life. This is that time. All right. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. We're moving on to Gemini. Hello there, Gemini, and welcome to your lunar eclipse in Pisces reading. This, my friends, is happening in your house of career, reputation, fame, fortune, some sparkly stuff, perhaps for you. Yes, it is your 10th house. Your 10th house is ruled by Capricorn and ruled by Saturn. So this eclipse is probably going to have a big, big impact on you in some way. Your 10th house, this can be where you recognize that the old ways aren't going to work for something new, for your future. And not only is, you know, your 10th is the 10th house ruled by Saturn, but also we do have the influence of Uranus with this eclipse. Uranus is in your sign, has been for a couple of months now. And now it's retrograde just 48 hours or so before this eclipse. And Uranus is a very different energy than what you may have been used to. It still represents air sign, which is great, but it can be very fast moving, very fast paced, and it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming. So, you know, in your 10th house, it's your business, your career, right? Your reputation, you know, laying the groundwork of things that can potentially bring you money or put you in the spotlight. So, you know, with Uranus in your sign, you could be like, you could have all these ideas about things. You could have had a lot of communication. Maybe you've got some money-making ideas, right? Some business ideas. There might be something that you want to do, or you may have had a whole influx of new things happening at work. And so, you know, this can be where Uranus going retrograde in your sign can be a blessing because it slows things down. Okay. Now you are a sign that, you know, you navigate quick things, you know, fairly adeptly, right? You know, you're pretty good at juggling things. You're quite social. You're quite chatty. You're quite communicative, all these kind of things. But that all has a dark side too. And we can have too much of a good thing sometimes. So a Uranus retrograde in your sign can be a little bit of a reawakening of something. You can be reviving something here. You could be recognizing, you can get a aha moment of why something's not progressing. Oh, right, I'm trying to do things the same way that I used to, and I've got to be a little bit more innovative. Uranus is the planet of innovation. And so perhaps you've got to take off your traditional thinking cap and do something a little bit different. Break the mold. But with Uranus retrograde in your sign, you get some breathing space, right? So if things have been feeling a little bit overwhelming, a little bit fast-paced for you, even though, you know, you're probably navigating it okay, now can be a good time for you to kind of take a break. But ultimately, you know, this can certainly be about having a look at something that is just not going to carry you forward anymore. It's like, this isn't how we're going to do this thing. This isn't how we're going to play this out. And so, you know, it can, again, maybe be you know, you're looking for a new job, but you don't want the same old, same old. You want something different. You want something that's exciting, or something that's, you know, where you can embrace your innovative side and not be stifled. So, you know, here in these retrogrades, you could certainly be taking a second look at your career path. Some of you are going to go back to the drawing board and revamp your resume. And some of you, you might just flat out quit your job. You're just like, I'm done. Okay. But your resume is what's going to carry you through, because you have all sorts of these accomplishments on there. All right. So for some of you, new jobs are in the works for you. Which you probably already know, but you might just be kind of taking that step back and saying, okay, is this really going to bring me closer to my goals and my dreams? Or is there something different that I need to do? Unfortunately, with that Uranus influence, the power to do something different and break the mold is very much within you. So there could also be some other changes going on in your workplace that may not necessarily be directly from you, or directly caused by you, or directly impacting you, but they could be, you know, they could have like a trickle down effect somewhere in your workplace there. You could have a boss that all of a sudden leaves. You can have, you know, maybe that coworker that always gets on your nerves. You know, maybe they up and leave, and this can have a trickle down effect through your organization. But by the same token, you could have a job opportunity opening up for you. And it can be something that opened up before, and maybe you just didn't get it, or you didn't go for it. And now it's a second chance, because those retrogrades can sometimes bring second chances as well. So embrace the change and go with the flow. We have extremes. Well, there you go. All right. Hot moon energy. So passion and fire and flames, but we've got extremes. Okay. So just be aware at this lunation that there could be some overexcitement. Okay. There can be some, I mean, it can be really good, because it's super passionate and fiery. Okay. But, you know, sometimes we need to do things in moderation, and sometimes we need to like up it a few notches. So have a look at the Finding a little bit of balance in your world can sometimes work, but sometimes taking something way up to the extreme can be a benefit to you. All right. Because it's like we're putting a little extra oomph and firepower into something. But just know that you and your energy might be very intense. It's very intense energy with this one. Okay. Or there could be some very intense energies going on around you. Okay. And so try and go with the flow. Be open, be flexible, be adaptable, but be ready for some action. Okay, and when we keep ourselves open to those things, sometimes a little bit of magic may transpire for us. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Ooh. So the Ten of Pentacles can certainly be where hard work pays off. This is happy home, happy family, stability, security, happy bank account, abundance, prosperity, and of course some success, or even a really positive work environment here as well. This can also represent Ten of Pentacles. You've got something going that you can be very successful at. So it can be that innovative idea that you've got, the business plan that you've been putting together. Okay, so now maybe you've been working towards a business plan or career goal of some kind. And now is a time to take a step back, assess that, make sure you've got all of your ducks in a row, and then move forward with something once you've got it all sorted out. But the Ten of Pentacles can represent some sort of money or gifts or blessings that are headed your way here as well. This can also just be the things you want, right? You want abundance in your life. You want a good, healthy paycheck. You want a nice roof over your head. You want to be able to support your family and, live that happy, prosperous life. So how are you going to get there, right? We do have that extremes energy, follow your passion and goals, but we also have something again that can maybe come to fruition for you. All right. So this can be really positive for you. You could get some help there. The Ten of Pentacles. Yes, it can represent some big money, but it can also represent big success, stability, security, but it can be inheritances as well. So we can inherit a lot of different things. We can inherit money. We can inherit talents. We can inherit help and resources. We can also inherit jobs. So again, there could be some things going on around you that help to line you up with something really good. I'll leave that there for you, Gemini. I hope you guys have a wonderful eclipse. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello there, Cancer, and welcome to your lunar eclipse in Pisces reading. This is happening in your 9th house. Now, your 9th house is all about your higher mind, your education, your belief systems, your philosophy, your outlook on life, on the world. It can also be about travel, and typically like longer distance travel. So, some of you right now are maybe making the determination that the only way to move forward, onwards and upwards with something in your life is to go back to school. Now, this can be something very practical. We are in Virgo season, okay? So it can be something very practical for yourself. But for some of you, you could also want to learn something just a little bit different. Maybe not anything that you could make some money at or anything. That might not even be the motivation. It could just be that I'm interested in this topic and I want to learn more about it. Or I'm interested in this belief system. I'm going to explore these things a little bit more. And are they in alignment with me? Because the 9th house is where our spirituality and our traditional religious belief systems kind of meet. And sometimes they clash. And sometimes we can blend a little bit, right? Because everything is meant to evolve. And so this can be some sort of evolution of what you believe in, or the belief system that you do embrace, right? Because it is a full moon, okay? It is Pisces energy, 12th house energy, okay? And so there could be something here where you are recognizing that some of your previous beliefs maybe just don't mesh with where you're headed for your future. But the 9th house, also travel and adventure, okay? And so I would be just really a little bit cautious at eclipse season anyway, with travel plans, okay, because we can have unexpected interruptions, or changes in our travel plans, like unexpected delays, or expect the unexpected, with eclipses in general. And so I think some of you have already experienced some challenges and some issues, and probably have already had some sort of trip canceled already. It's something that you've had your heart set on, and now you're like, okay, now what do we do? We've lost some money, or now we got to wait to get our money back from this thing, and now we got to figure out where else we want to go. We're going to source out some other airlines and things like that. So, you know, some of you here could have that kind of disruption that might be going on. Okay, or you could be deciding to do something completely different, especially if you're traveling. Maybe you go to the same place all the time. And now you can be thinking, you know what? We've been here like so many times. Why don't we try somewhere different? Or why don't we try something a little bit different? Because eclipses do encourage you to get out of your comfort zone, right? And this full moon is out with the old ways and moving forward into the future into maybe a different way. So if you've always gone to, say, Mexico and all-inclusive or something like that, well, maybe now you try a cruise. It is Pisces season, so it's linked to the water, you know, or maybe you go overseas somewhere. Maybe you want to take in like some history, some architecture or something. So just kind of shaking things up a little bit, either by accident or design. Okay, but you could certainly have some sort of shift in your belief system here, or again, to better yourself for your future. You might be changing a career path or something, and this could actually be what puts you back in school. Some of you, however, are graduating at this time, and so now you're forging your path in the world, and you're ready to embark on some new adventures. And so this can really lead up to a really positive time for you. Remember, we've got a solar eclipse coming up on the 21st of September. It is in Virgo. It does affect our day-to-day lives, and including our work, right? What we do for a living, or even where we work, that kind of thing. So there could be something new on the horizon for you there, and hopefully very rewarding. Well, let's see what the cards have for you. We've got blossoming with a flower moon on here. Card number 33. Threes are wonderful. Threes are, of course, the basis of manifestation. 3 represents creation. 3 is linked back to the Empress card, which is thus linked back to the planet Venus. Venus brings us love, money, the things that bring us happiness and joy, beauty, creativity, new beginnings, and, of course, a harvest. So for some of you here, you are blossoming and growing and shining in ways that you haven't before. You are evolving in this energy, and that's the 9th house is very much like that. You also, by the way, the 9th house is Sagittarian energy, free-spirited kind of energy, very positive energy, ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is in your sign. So you could really have some gifts and blessings and some things that are giving you some wonderful growth or opportunities here. So this is awesome. Something could potentially come to fruition for you, or you are embracing your power to manifest and to create something there. Jupiter is a wonderful energy to have in your sign, okay? And it can bring you all kinds of blessings, even ones that are those hidden blessings that you don't quite see until maybe a little while later. We have the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant, very interesting that this should appear. As I was talking about the 9th house and your belief systems, the image in my mind was actually the Hierophant, because the Hierophant does have to do with your faith and your beliefs. It is Taurus energy, so there could certainly be something going on with money or your income or things that you own or possess. So you could have something manifesting in your world, something blossoming in your world that brings you some financial reward or brings you some sort of gift. But the Hierophant can also represent marriage, higher level of commitment with something, but also ascension. We're rising up to the next level because we believe in ourselves and because of the things that we've done and things we've committed to. This can be where things really do pay off. But it is a card of, it's a very religious card, right? Religious or belief system based here in this. So again, some of you are ascending, you're rising above. And so some of you here with this energy, you're like, the key to my personal growth is going to be either to blend the old with the new, or to completely turn my back on the old. It's not working for me. I don't believe in these things anymore. And I'm embracing a different path forward, a different belief system, even if it's just your belief in yourself. All right. It can be small things that have a big impact, or it can be big things here as well. All right. But you could certainly have something here that is happening for you that requires you to keep the faith a little bit as well. Okay. Not just believe in yourself, but keep the faith in the universe, in the system, in how things unfold. Right. Because I do feel that some of you probably do have some sort of disruption, especially with movement or travel plans or something like that. And, you know, you're probably railing at the fates. Okay. There's certain things beyond your control. All right. But you don't see the blessing in it yet, but you will see the blessing in it. So sometimes it's those blessings in disguise that, realign us with something a little bit better, or put us back on the path that we're supposed to be on if we've drifted away. So you just never know. Sometimes things do work out for the best, even if they are difficult and challenging. So faith and belief. I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful lunation. And we will move on now to Leo. Hey there, Leo, and welcome to your lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. Are you ready for this one? Okay, so this could be super intense for you guys. This is happening in your 8th house. Of course, your 8th house is ruled by Pluto. It brings in some Scorpio energy. Your 8th house has to do with other people and the things that you jointly share, such as money, possessions, those kind of things. The 8th house does have to do with births, deaths, endings, new beginnings, transformation, change, evolution, and other things that are inevitable in our lives, such as taxes. Okay, so if you haven't finished your taxes, now is a good time to get those done. Some of you here, you could be transforming the things that you share with another person. So because the 8th house does have to do with beginnings and endings, okay, this can be out with the old, in with the new, or it could just be out with the old. Okay, so some of you here are maybe parting ways with somebody in your life, and this also includes unraveling your financial situation from them. So think divorces and things like that, separation of business partnerships, that kind of thing. But this can also be where, you know, if you are perhaps single, or if you have your own business or want to open your own business, then maybe you can partner up with somebody at this time and join forces. And this can be a really powerful dynamic for you. This can also represent for some of you a very exciting time, maybe bringing you some financial freedom, because the 8th house does have to do with loans. So you could be perhaps needing to take out a new loan because your old car broke down, right? In with the old, or out with the old, in with the new. Some of you could be paying off loans at the moment and getting a little taste of some financial freedom there, where you're not burdened by this debt on your head, right? So even though we do have some things coming to an end, it can open some doors for something a little bit better for us with the 8th house. But the 8th house can be secretive. It can reveal the things that are hidden, especially at a full moon. So there could be something here where you need to shine a light on something, or there could be some sort of big revelation or some truth that does come to light here as well. Pisces energy, lunar eclipse in Pisces, it does rule the 12th house of secrets. Okay, so there could be something, a secret that does come out. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that's something bad, okay? Because the 8th house also does have to do with intimacy. And so maybe it's where you or your significant other, you share your fantasies with the other person, and it's like a little bit uncomfortable. It's like, I don't know that I really should share this, but I'm going to anyway and see what happens. And you just never know. It could infuse a little bit of excitement into something, reignite a passion, reignite some sort of spark. Okay, but because Pisces energy does have to do with secrets, and the 8th house can also be something that is hidden. Again, there could be a revelation of some hidden finances. So for example, maybe finding a secret bank account, or maybe you feel the need to start a secret bank account. Hopefully you're not in that energy, because some major trust issues there. But this can also be where maybe someone has some hidden debt that they just haven't revealed. And things like student loans and credit card debt do tend to sometimes get hidden because it's very uncomfortable to talk about. But the more we can clear the air and get things out in the open, the better off we are, and the better off we can be. So whatever your situation is, change and transformation are the order of the day for you. And we have attraction with supermoon energy, card number 44. Now, I do love the number 4, okay, depending on where you are. Some cultures don't necessarily like the number 4. It's actually Chinese doesn't always like the number 4, because my understanding from a couple of friends, they apparently 4 sounds like the word death in I don't know if it's Mandarin or something else, but anyways, this is what I'm told. But over here, 4s do bring stability and security. There's 4 legs on a chair, right? There's 4 wheels on a car, 4 legs on a table, a lot of the time. So 4s do tend to represent planting roots, bringing a strong foundation, and bringing stability and security. So with the supermoon energy coming in here for you with a double resonance of number 4, there could certainly be something that is a big focus for you, or something that is on its way that you are attracting to you, that can bring you more of a solid foundation, that can add to your foundation that you've already built, and can bring you some stability and security for the future. So this can be super exciting for you. Some of you are getting blessed with something there, but ultimately, really do just remember your power to attract. Okay. When we embrace the energy that we're living in what we want, right, then we are transforming ourselves. We're transforming our energy, and we're more open and receptive to things that build upon that, right? It's, we do talk about manifestation. We do talk about setting intentions and all that kind of stuff, but that's not enough. We've got to attach emotion to it. We've got to attach feelings to it, but we also have to train our brain to believe we already have it, because then our eyes can see it. So believe that you already have that which you are attracting to you, and you are an infinite magnet for abundance. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you attract things to you that are in alignment with your energy. So embrace that power. We have the 10 of Cups. Well, would you look at that? 10 of Cups, wonderful energy, happy home, happy family, happy life, joyous vibes all around, but unlimited potential for happiness and blessings coming your way. Look at those cards. Those are absolutely beautiful for you there, Leo. So something could certainly be coming to fruition for you. There could be a lot of blessings headed your way as a result of this full moon. It may require you closing the door, closing a chapter on something in your life to embrace this energy. But certainly things, there could be something here that is at a very significant turning point for you. For some of you, it's letting go of dead weight. Okay. So even a breakup might be really positive for you, because now you've got your money back, right? So sometimes we have a sponge in our life, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic thing. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, right? But they're a sponge, they're take, and they don't give. So a breakup with, something like that, right? Or someone like that, or a situation like that, that's just all take and no give, can be really positive for you and can open doors for better tomorrow for you, right? But some of you do have something really wonderful and beautiful blossoming here. We have a rainbow on the 10 of Cups. The rainbows do represent magic, but they also represent something a little bit magical in our lives here as well. So embrace yourself, embrace the magic. Some of you here are going to be experiencing some very interesting personal emotional, spiritual growth. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'll leave that there for you, Leo. Oh, by the way, remember, we do also have, at the time of this new moon, or this full moon, I should say, we also do have Venus in your sign. And Venus is one of our most beneficial planets, right? Jupiter is our biggest one, and then followed by Venus. So Venus wants to bring you something beautiful, wants to bring you some blessings and joy and laughter and success and abundance and all kinds of wonderful things into your life. So work with the energy of Venus, okay? Use this full moon to cleanse and purge and all that stuff, and embrace that energy of Venus, because she will leave your sign. When does she leave your sign? The 19th of September, okay? So as of this lunation, you got another good couple of weeks, 12 days exactly, until Venus is out of there and into Virgo. So really use this to your advantage. It can be really wonderful. I'll leave that there for you, Leo. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful lunation, and we'll move on now to Virgo. Hello there, Virgo, and welcome to your lunar eclipse in Pisces reading. So this is all about relationships for you guys. Okay, so romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships, you name it. The 7th house is where this lunation is happening. Now, there could be something, remember, we do have some repeating energy with Saturn. Okay, Saturn can be a little bit pessimistic, can be a little bit slow moving, but it is a karmic planet. It is one where we learn our lessons, right? School of Hard Knocks, that's Saturn for you. Okay, and as far as our relationship goes, with the full moon, with the eclipse energy and Saturn retrograde, yes, we can have things come up from the past. Now, it can be, because this is a period where you may recognize how much you've grown, Saturn, okay? You might recognize here at this time that, wow, I've grown a lot. I've come a long way since this certain thing happened. Maybe it's something with an ex or an old friend or something like that. And you're like, now I know why it didn't work out. And when we get this realization, it's freeing, right? So even if yes, exes can come back. Okay, I will say, okay, they can. All right. Now, if you want your ex back, this can be a blessing for you. Eclipses do tend to bring volatile energy, though, so I don't know. Might be something that's short-lived, where Saturn is just going to teach you that final lesson and go, see, I told you so. But it can also just be your opportunity for final closure. Because if you do bump into an ex or something, you could just be looking at them like they have horns growing under their head going, why was I ever attracted to you? That kind of thing. And this can be a huge freeing moment for you where you finally get that closure, just in case there was any kind of lingering doubts or anything like that, right? And man, this thing here, it was going so well, and sometimes there's some hurts and things like that. So this can be a really big moment of freedom for some of you, and wouldn't that be nice, right? But with the Libra and full moon, we can also have some changes going on in our personal relationships here. It can be, something is evolving, right? The old connection, the old way we connected, or the old status of a relationship can be out the window, and we're embracing a new forward tomorrow, right? So we're embracing a new way of life. So for example, you could go from dating somebody to getting engaged. You could be shifting from, living with someone to getting married. You could be shifting a dynamic from being an acquaintance with somebody to forming a closer friendship. So we can have this evolution of relationships that can certainly happen here. But at the same time, Libra energy also has to deal with contracts and the law, fairness, balance, and equality, and justice ultimately as well. So this can be where justice is served. If any of you have some lingering legal things going on, this can be where those things get resolved. This can also be where some of you realize that, this is bigger than myself and I need to get some sort of legal help. So you could be sourcing out a lawyer or legal guidance of some kind. take the more practical approach to things. It's like, oh, I don't understand what this all says. So, you know, I need a little bit of help from someone more experienced and someone who knows what they're talking about, right? But if you do have anything there, you know, especially divorces and things like that, this could be where things do wrap up, or at least you start to get that closure, so that you can finally move forward with your life, get that monkey off your back. All right. So anyways, relationships of all kinds, okay, are coming in here. We have self-love. Beautiful self-love energy. And, you know, Venus right now is in Leo. Venus in Leo. Venus is our planet of love and money, but also things that bring us pleasure and joy. The things that we find beautiful in our life is also the planet of love and self-love. And Venus in Leo can be about doing something for you. Leo is ruled by the sun, self. Right? So Venus in Leo, self-love, right? So do something nice for yourself, no matter what your relationship status is, no matter what things you've got on the go, okay? Love yourself in some way. It'll bring you a million blessings when you do that, because where does love start? In your heart, right? Where does happiness lie? Within you. So when we do something nice for ourselves, doesn't matter what it is, it can be something tiny, it can be something big, we are ultimately improving our energy and we feel good. And when we feel good, we look good and we radiate such beautiful light, such beautiful positivity. And you do anyway, right? But even more so. So whatever your situation is, do something for yourself, whether it's meditating, whether it's lighting a candle and burning something away, whether it's going for a massage. A full moon in Pisces is a great time to engage in spiritual practice. We are in Virgo, and Virgo is the sign of service. And Virgo season is where we may find that practitioner that we can kind of dig their vibe. So like a Reiki session, right? You might find a Reiki practitioner where it's like, okay, I like this person's vibe, right? And when we like the vibe of the person that we go to for a service, right, that service is better, it's enhanced. You could be finding a new chiropractor, a naturopath. You could be finding that perfect massage therapist who just gives the best elbow in the middle of your shoulder, right? Whatever it happens to be, right? Our self-love can be spiritual practice. It can be finding those spiritual practitioners. Maybe you get a tarot reading done or something at this time, but something for you. Okay, something for you here, guys. Yes, this is your 7th house of relationships, but don't neglect yourself in those relationships. We have the 6 of Pentacles. The energy that you put out flows back to you. Okay, number 1. All right, always remember that. So you could find helpful people or helpful resources or things that benefit you at this time. The money that you pay out for some of these services, you will reap your rewards back. So it'll be money well spent, whether it's on a lawyer, whether it's on, I desperately need a massage, right? Those kind of things. Okay, it's money well spent. Okay, so you don't feel like it's been wasted, right? You pay for a service and you get something back, quite often more than your money's worth with this. So this can be really awesome for you. The 6 of Pentacles does have to do with balance and harmony, which is very interesting considering the Libran energy. The 7th house energy is about balance, harmony, equality, especially in your relationships and things. So this can be where things can certainly get back on track, or this is what you are striving to achieve. When we work together, we can achieve this, no problem. Okay, or restore some sort of balance in your life as well, especially if you've been maybe attached to someone or something that's been, kind of bleeding you dry a little bit, right? It's been one-sided. It's like, no, now we're going to focus on equality, okay, rather than inequality. But the 6 of Pentacles, you can be receiving a gift or a blessing at this time as well. The 6 of Pentacles, we often do get something back. Pentacles, of course, is money, right? So again, you could be getting some sort of money thing sorted out. Especially if you've been dealing with any kind of divorce or anything like that. You could be finishing out a contract. Maybe you get a bonus. You might have finished it early. You could also be opening the door for new contracts as well, because full moons, right, out the door with our old perhaps career or something, and moving forward into something a little bit better. So some of you could be lining up here to sign a job contract, something that actually bring you some bonuses, or maybe bring you more money than what you are earning before, and perhaps even something that makes you happier. So having said all that, guys, I'm going to leave that there. I hope you guys have a wonderful eclipse. I thank you for watching, and I'm going to move on now to Libra. Hello there, Libra, and welcome to your lunar eclipse in Pisces reading. This is happening in your 6th house, so it's Virgo season that we're in at the time of this eclipse. So you could be very much focused on making some improvements in your day-to-day life. The 6th house is all about your health, happiness, and well-being. It's about your daily habits, patterns, and routines, and how they do affect your life. So you could be turning over a new leaf if you maybe have been trying to go on a health kick of some kind. And maybe it's just to get in better physical shape, or maybe it's just to get some energy flowing. Perhaps, you want to get your joints and your muscles moving a little bit. Maybe you want to start with eating a little bit healthier, right? So Virgo energy and the 6th house energy reminds us that it's the little things, the little changes that can have a big effect. And sometimes, being human, we sometimes think that everything has to happen all at once, right? And we do live in, the age of social media, right? We instant gratification on all that kind of stuff, but it really doesn't happen that way. It's often hard work, dedication, one foot in front of the other, a lot of patience, and the little things. The little things add up to big things, and if we keep on with them, right, they can have a big impact. So imagine if you were trying to eat a little bit better, maybe you just want to get a little bit healthier, perhaps you're trying to lose weight, or whatever your motivation is there. Replace one meal with something healthier. Replace your side dish with something a little bit healthier. Maybe even for some people, the answer is cutting out a meal, right? Do you need 3 big meals a day? Maybe not. Maybe you only need 2. Maybe you only need 1, right? Everyone's a little bit different. So, but it's those little things that can really add up over time, right? Maybe you want to get more physically active. You might have a sore knee or something like that. Maybe you start by just going for a walk around the block. Doesn't have to be far, but then eventually it gets a little bit longer, or maybe a little bit faster. And you start to feel good. Your energy flows. Walking is really good for you. So anything like that. 6th house also has to do with finding new practitioners. It is the sign of service. And so in that energy, you could be finding a new doctor. You could be finding a new massage therapist. You could be finding a dietitian, right? People that are more in alignment with what you need out of a service. And so, maybe your family doctor is, no longer up with the times, or maybe they're full. You can never get an appointment, right? So you might be leaving them, full moon, and embracing something new, right? We do have a Virgo new moon coming up right on the 21st. So, this can be a time of changing those kind of things in our life. You could also switch up your spiritual practice. You could also switch up just something a little bit in your day-to-day routine. Are you that person that sits there and hits the snooze button 20 times before you finally get up and now you're rushing? Maybe you can get up the first time that your alarm goes off, and maybe now you have a chance to enjoy your shower or actually have a cup of coffee instead of rushing around, and you're like, oh, this is actually a better way to start my day, right? So little things can have a really big impact. Your 6th house does also have to do with your pets and your daily work and routines. So some of you are looking at where you work or how you commute to work or how far you commute to work, and you could have some changes coming in there that you want to make. Pets in the 6th house. Well, unfortunately, some of you could potentially be saying goodbye to one of them. Breaks my heart. I'm 100% animal lover. I've got 3 of the little monkeys myself, 2 cats and 1 dog. And my dog is 16 years old and she's a border collie. So she's getting a little bit long in the tooth there, but she's still plunking around. So unfortunately, sometimes that is a way of life. And that is just something that we know is inevitable and is coming up. So when they do cross the rainbow bridge, just know that they came here perfect. They didn't have to learn how to be good. Okay, unlike humans, sometimes we have to learn those lessons, right? But our pets don't. So some of you, unfortunately, could have that happening. But we do have a solar eclipse and new moon in Virgo coming up as well. And so this can be that full moon. Whereas if you've already lost a pet, you could find some profound healing with this full moon. And perhaps you're starting to think about getting another pet because enough time may have passed now where now you're ready to open your heart again, right? Because yes, it's so painful, right, when they do cross over, but our time with them is so wonderful, right? So anyway, so you could have that kind of stuff going on there as well. Great time for a doctor visit, great time for a vet checkup, all that kind of stuff when we have any kind of moon in your 6th house. We have the path. Interesting. The path forward is open for you. You are encouraged to move forward into a better tomorrow or into a new tomorrow, into a different tomorrow. All right. What path are you following? Do you like the path that you're on right now? Or is it no longer working for you? When you look at your day to day, your ins and outs of your daily routines, is it working? Are you tired and drained? Is there something you can do better? You're encouraged to move forward and maybe step through that portal and embrace something just a little bit new. You know what path you want to take. You know what direction you want to go in. Sometimes the hardest part is just getting started, right? You know how they say if you're going to the gym, getting there is like half the battle. And then once you're there, you may as well just keep on going, keeping on continuing. Sometimes taking that first step is like 90% of the battle. It's like, I just got to get started. And sometimes that's where we falter. So this is encouraging you to step through that portal and make some really positive change. And we have the Page of Wands. Get active, okay, but also be excited about tomorrow, about things yet to come. The Page of Wands can actually bring you some really good news. So some of you can certainly have something that is very exciting that's going on, something that'll enhance your day-to-day, and something, that's maybe in alignment with your passion, your goals, your dreams, right? That Page of Wands can certainly be something manifesting in your life, and it can also be you really excited to take the first step or take the next step on your journey somewhere. What does that look like to you? The Page of Wands, it can be pretty much anything, and it certainly is in alignment with things that you're manifesting or things that are part of your wishes and your goals and your dreams. And the pages do quite often bring in new beginnings, and because we're morphing, we're evolving, and we're leaving something in the past that isn't exciting anymore, that's not working for us anymore, that's not making us feel alive. And with the Page of Wands, we feel alive. So an energy boost, feeling more alive, doing something a little bit different, maybe doing something outside the box. And of course, the Page of Wands, of course, does represent something new, right? And something that can really put joy in our hearts and, make us feel wonderful, right? It's a really joyous energy. It's a really exciting energy here as well. All right. So certainly some big kind of shift that's coming in here for you, or that's available for you should you choose to go up this ladder into this portal and take that next step. I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful lunation, and we're going to move on now to Scorpio. Hello there, Scorpio, and welcome to your lunar eclipse reading in the sign of Pisces. Are you ready to have some fun, Scorpio? This is happening in your 5th astrological house, which is typically really quite awesome, right? The 5th house energy is lighthearted. It's fun. It's where we focus on the things that bring us pleasure and joy, put a smile on our face. It's very creative energy. It's where we focus on our hobbies, the things that we want to create in our life. Romance and love affairs also happen in the 5th house as well. And of course, right now Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer. Okay, so our house, our home, our family, our children, and Jupiter in Cancer can be a little bit of a baby boom, and this can be linked to the 5th house. So some of you here, maybe you are giving birth. Okay, you already know you're pregnant and you're giving birth, full moon, right? We're ready to give birth. It might be a little bit of a surprise, so maybe it's early. Or maybe you are giving birth in a way that you didn't expect. Okay, it can happen really fast as well, by the way. So you hear stories about people, giving birth and going into labor in a taxi or something like that. I hope not. It's not probably the most comfortable place to give birth, but it can happen, right? So things can happen really in unexpected ways with eclipses. But others of you are maybe having some life-changing news, okay? And yes, this could potentially be about children in some way, and pregnancy in some way. So it can be a real blessing for some of you here. But it can also represent a little bit of a challenge for some of you. So, maybe you've been trying to get pregnant and haven't had any success. So the eclipses show you that there's a path of change that may be opening up for you. So whatever you've been doing right now maybe doesn't work. And so there could be some opportunities here for you to find a different way, right? So explore other avenues, other options, okay? And they could be a little bit unconventional, all right? But the 5th house in general is fun, okay? It's fun, it's joyous, it's lighthearted. Some of you here are maybe putting the final touches, the finishing touches on a creative project, a do-it-yourself project or something maybe. Others of you are maybe looking to revive an old hobby or something that you used to do. And maybe you haven't had time to do it for a long time. So this is like a little bit of a reinvention of yourself, right? So, going back a little bit to something that brought you a lot of joy. And so this can be really lighthearted and kind of fun energy. But some of you need to make some changes here because it is a full moon. Okay, it is a lunar eclipse. And sometimes to bring more happiness and joy and time to do these things into our lives, we have to change something around a little bit in some other area. So you could be needing to make some changes at work or set some boundaries. Some of you might be looking for a career change and you want to follow your heart. You want to do something a little bit more fulfilling, something more fun, or something that uses your creative talents as well. All right. Because, sometimes we take jobs because we have to take a job because we need money, right? We need money, a roof over your head. We need all these things. But now that the dust has settled a little bit, now you're like, okay, I don't want to do this for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Now that I've got a paycheck coming in, now I can spread my wings a little bit. Now I can kind of keep my options open. So some of you could potentially be in that kind of boat, that kind of energy there for you. So, how do you make more time? How do you clear space to do the things that you love, whether it's in your work day, whether it's at home, whatever that happens to be. And so we could be getting ready to depart something there or make some positive change in our life. We've got the path. Interesting. Some of you may have Libra in your chart somewhere, so sun, moon, rising. But the path here forward for you, this is card number 8. Okay. 8 is very familiar to you, perhaps because, of course, 8 is your house, right? 8th house is Scorpio house. And this is all about change and transformation, endings, new beginnings, all this kind of evolutionary energy here. And so with the path, what path are you on? Are you happy with your path? Is it leading you into the direction that you want it to lead you into? Or is it time for a little bit of a change? There could be new paths opening up for you. You've got a portal opening up there. All you need to do is get on that little crooked ladder and have that leap of faith that ladder will hold to bring you up to that portal, right? So, this can certainly represent that you may need to be a little bit adaptable. You might need to be a little bit flexible in the things that you do, but you might also be ready for some sort of change, and you might be ready to step forward into something that maybe scares you a little bit, You know, 8th house energy, right? You are used to change, okay, to a certain degree, but change is scary for everybody, right? But maybe it's time to face your fears. I'm going to face my fears. You know what? I'm feeling those butterflies in my stomach. I'm feeling nervous. I'm not 100% sure of myself, but I'm going to go for it. And so this can be the energy that you're at. We have the Three of Wands. What path are you following? Where are you going? Where are you headed? Are you ready for change? Are you ready to take the next step? Are you ready to take a first step? The Three of Wands. The path forward for you is clear. Interesting. The Three of Wands is where we have kind of decided something here. We put a plan in place and now we're waiting for the right time. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting for the right opportunity. Just make sure you don't wait too long. Because sometimes with the Three of Wands energy, yes, it's wonderful. The path is open. The path is clear. There's no obstacles standing in our way. Only the ones, even this card here, there's no obstacles standing on that path. But sometimes we put our own obstacles in our path. Or sometimes we can miss a window of opportunity because we've been waiting for something a little better. Waiting for that moment of perfection. And of course, life is messy. So perfection doesn't always exist. So we have to trust our instincts. We've got to be like, okay, this looks really good. This looks really exciting. You know what? Let's see where this goes. Let's see where this leads. Let's just say yes. So the Three of Wands can certainly be encouraging you to say yes to something here. But the Three of Wands also can be one of forward movement, getting prepared, getting ready to make a move in some way. Okay, this can also indicate there's a prize for you somewhere there and something that may propel you forward. So it's all about walking forward, moving forward, okay, and whether it's a similar path but like a better thing, your fortune could be shining upon you perhaps here as well, right? So the Three of Wands can represent that there is some forward movement here for you, something opening up for you here where you can take a step forward. But the Three of Wands also about fun and travel. Okay, yes, it can be about going out on a little bit of an adventure. So some of you need a bit of a break or a vacation, something here, and there could certainly be some opportunities opening up for you. It might just be a couple of days away, and you hop in the car, you know, be a tourist in your own town, you know, that kind of thing. But the Three of Wands can represent making some sort of travel plans and getting ready to have a little bit of fun, excitement, and adventure in your life. And that's very much in alignment with your 5th house. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I'm going to leave that there for you. Good luck in this lunation. I do thank you for watching. And we will move on now to who Sagittarius is next. Hello there, Sagittarius, and welcome to your lunar eclipse in Pisces reading. This is happening in your 4th house. Familiar energy for you guys, right? So you may have had a new beginning of some kind back in Pisces season, the beginning of February, and this can be where something is coming to fruition for you or you're ready to make some sort of change. Your 4th house does have to do with your house and your home, your private life, your family, your children, your parents, your ancestry. Interestingly enough, with this full moon being in Pisces, very spiritual, very dreamy kind of energy, it can be. And so you could be getting some sort of guidance from beyond the veil, perhaps coming in from an ancestor. So I always know there's different ways that our ancestors you know, or our passed on loved ones let us know that they're around. One of them, sometimes they can come to you in a dream. But we can get other kind of signs as well. You know, I have a friend whose dad used to collect dimes. I don't know about dimes, but anyways, dimes. And it was like a, you know, kind of a little bit of a family joke. And he always collected dimes. And now she knows every time that he's around because she finds dimes in random places. Like she'll vacuum the living room and all of a sudden find a dime in the middle of the floor that definitely wasn't there before. You know, if you had, you know, if you had someone in your life that really loved, say, butterflies, you know, you could find butterflies come to you and there's no flowers around or anything like that. I always know when my grandmother is with me, she's very prevalent. I always know when she's walking by my side and she wants me to know that she's there because I get the smell of Pall Mall cigarettes. Ugh. I really wish she'd bring in the talcum powder scent that I always associate with her as well. But anyways, it is what it is. So you could certainly be getting some sort of messages, signs, guidance, inspiration from one of your ancestors, past loved ones. But you could also be finding an inclination to look up your family tree. And, maybe you find something very interesting there. Pisces energy is 12th house, and this does have to do with secrets, and it can be family secrets. So just take some old family secrets with a grain of salt. Sometimes if you go digging through your family tree, you never know what you're going to find. But it could be something really interesting, or it could be something like, oh, man, I didn't expect that. So you could be doing that as well. So your 4th house, though, you could also have something that's coming back again here with your home, with your family, something in the dynamics of your family unit, or something to do with where you live. So it can be something as mundane as, 6 months ago, your dishwasher broke, you had to get the repairman in, and now here we are again, right? And, perhaps someone in your family convinced you that, no, don't go for, the highest rated one. We just need to get this done. It's quick fix. It's hard to mess up, and let's just go for the cheapest person. So part of your lesson, Saturn, can be cheaper isn't always better, right? That kind of thing. Or, maybe you finally learn to do something yourself, right? Do it yourself, home improvement or something like that. But Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer right now as well. So you could have some really wonderful blessings headed your way with your home and your family, your neighbors, where you live, that kind of thing, right? Because our neighbors, even though our neighbors are more associated with the 3rd house in astrology, but our neighbors can impact our home life as well, right? Especially if they're noisy, or if they feel like they're coming, if you're in a condo or an apartment, maybe they feel like they're coming through your ceiling or something like that. The blessing could be as they leave. And maybe you get someone in place that believes in area rugs and is soft on their feet. Wouldn't that be wonderful? So Jupiter is in alignment there to perhaps bring you some sort of blessings in your 4th house, right? Because Jupiter is in Cancer, and Cancer rules the 4th house. So you just never know what's gonna happen there. But I do feel like there is some big moves coming in. Maybe you redecorate your home, make something old feel new again. Some of you could get new furniture, or perhaps some of you might be moving, or you could have some shifting dynamics with who you live with. We have the lunar god energy with the masculine. Now this really speaks to your personal power, okay? Your boldness, your confidence to make change, to get something done, to let something go, to believe in yourself, and ultimately to take action or to stand up for yourself or even for other people, right? So the masculine energy is the go-getter energy. And we do actually have the influence of the sun at this lunation. Yes, we've got the full moon in Pisces, but the sun is there too. It's an eclipse. So there could be something that you're not seeing. There could be something that comes in as a surprise, or there could be something that you just get up one morning, because all of September is eclipse season. It's not just a one and done on one day. So it could be something where you get up in the morning and you're like, today's the day. And so you could just be taking charge. And especially if there's been any kind of procrastination or some situation that's been lingering for a long time, and now you're like, nope, we're not going to do this again. We're going to do something differently. We're going to make some positive change, whatever that looks like. Because again, with this Saturn energy retrograding back into Pisces, there is this feeling of familiarity, and there's also this feeling of we've done this before. Deja vu for some of you, but for others, you know exactly what this is and why. And you're like, we're not going to have this argument again. We're not going to repeat this cycle again. No, come on. We've learned our lessons. Let's move on. So, there could be some closure that's necessary here, or you could really need to embrace that masculine energy and put your foot down. Okay, stand in your personal power, whatever that looks like to you. But this can certainly be a very powerful and transformative time for you. Be ready to take some action, but at the same time, go with the flow. And we've got the Fool. Wonderful. The Fool can represent exciting new beginnings, right? It can represent some new paths. It can represent some adventure. It can represent new house, new neighbors. It can represent, again, a shifting dynamic in with who you live with. Someone could be moving out. Someone could be moving in. You just never know. The Fool does bring about new beginnings. It brings about new things, new opportunities, a sense of adventure, a sense of fun and joy and excitement. But there could be something here where you do need to trust yourself and take a little bit of a leap of faith. Okay, and of course, your planetary ruler, Jupiter, right? Your planetary ruler is in that sign of Cancer and is in effect ruling this 4th house, so it's very influential on your lunation. So there could be something that you've been waiting for. There could be something where you thought something had passed you by and now, oh my goodness, this window of opportunity is opening up for me again. But you could have some blessings headed your way as well. Now just be aware though, the Fool can bring in some naive kind of energy as well. So part of your lesson, Saturn, okay, can be that, you know what, I don't know how to do this, okay, or I don't have the expertise required. So you might need to put your ego aside a little bit and call in an expert, okay, or get some more information, especially do-it-yourself projects around your home. If you are not an electrician, you're probably not going to play with electricity. Let me tell you, if you do something wrong, it hurts. Okay. And yes, it can be a little zap to a big shock. All right. You know, if you're not a plumber and if you've never delved into that and if you don't do any research first, you can end up flooding your kitchen or something. Right. So just be a little bit aware that there could be some things that's beyond your level of expertise. Okay. And you may need to seek out somebody who is maybe the divine masculine, right? Someone who is, you know, very confident in what they're doing and they have a lot of experience and skills. And so it might cost you some money, but again, it'll be money well spent, right? But the Fool ultimately does bring exciting new beginnings. In your home, I will say Jupiter in the sign of Cancer can represent a baby boom. Okay, and the Fool could be something there that's a little bit unexpected. So someone could have some sort of announcement. Okay, it might be you, it could be one of your children if you have them, and there could potentially be someone new that's about to enter your family unit. You just never know. But ultimately, the Fool can certainly be very, very exciting kind of energy, bringing you in some new, but you are going to have to let something go from the past in order to embrace it. I'll leave that there for you guys. I thank you for watching. I hope you have an absolutely fabulous eclipse, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello there, Capricorn, and welcome to your lunar eclipse in Pisces reading. Capricorn, this can be very chatty for you, very social for you. This is happening in your 3rd house. Now, your 3rd house is Gemini energy, okay? And of course, this particular full moon eclipse is happening at the 15th degree. So 15 degrees does relate back to Gemini in the 3rd house. So this can be quite impactful and transformative for you. The 3rd house, again, ruled by Mercury, right? So Mercury is chatty. We can have big ideas. Mercury rules technology. Some of you, let's just say with a lunar eclipse, so we've got Uranus retrograding in Gemini. Be a little bit careful of your technology. Make sure you have computer backups, okay? Because we can have some little disruptions there potentially. Some of you might be deciding that your technology is too old, so you might want to get something new. Some of you could be discovering that one of your neighbors is moving out, and now you're sitting there curious as to who might be moving in, because your 3rd house does have to do with your neighborhoods, right? You could, well, maybe have some neighbors that want to chit chat or something like that, or maybe want to talk to you in this. But again, remember, there's some repeating life lessons that may be coming in here as well. So, you know, maybe you do get some new neighbors, and, you know, perhaps your old neighbors you didn't have the best relationship with, and now you're like, you know what, I think, you know, good fences make good neighbors. And I think we need to be kind and neighborly and say hello, but maybe just not get too entwined with our neighbors. Sometimes that's a little bit of a life lesson, right? Because we go home for some peace and quiet, or we go home to relax, or, you know, to feel safe and secure. And, you know, everyone has a different way of living. And sometimes, you know, you could have a neighbor that lives beside you, but their way of living and their, you know, morals and values and things like that just aren't meshing with yours. So this can be that, you know, we're not going to do this again, where our neighbors previously overstepped their boundaries and things like that. We like our privacy. So again, you could be doing something different, right? Same thing with, you know, your social life and things like that, right? You just might be finding that less information is more, maybe here as well. But certainly the third house is like the junk drawer of astrology. So, and it's because it's ruled by Mercury. And so this is like anything goes, anything can happen. We can get communication or information from all different kinds of platforms. We can have technology that kind of goes kaput. We can repair it maybe, but maybe we can also buy something new. We can also have some shocking truths and revelations that come out. It is an eclipse. Okay, so, but you can also have some big ideas, right? So you can have some ideas that you want to put in motion. The third house, also that Gemini energy, that Mercury energy, can be about journaling and writing things down and writing your goals and your aspirations down, or, you know, writing that book or manuscript, go back to the drawing board and revamp your resume, that kind of thing. So it can be really good for like writing and things like that, especially things that are very practical or things that can advance our status in life in some way. So a lot of different things going on, but there can be some very important conversations that need to happen or that will happen somewhere around this eclipse. So let's see what cards are coming out for you. We've got the masculine, very interesting. So Sagittarius just had this particular card. So lunar god, the masculine. It's all about being confident, standing up for yourself, taking action on whatever it is you need to release, whatever it is you want to start new, okay? But it is one of believing yourself, right? The masculine energy is that energy of I'm going to do it, right? It's about ego. Sometimes we have to let go of ego in order for change to happen, or in order to embrace a new way of living, a new way of being, right? And, you know, our ego, our pride can be really good things, but a little bit too much and things can go a little bit sideways, right? So there could be a dominant male in your life that, you know, has some sort of prominence around this full moon. But this can also be you embracing your masculine side. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. Okay, it's an energy, right? And this can be where you are making decisions. You're taking the lead. You're taking action, affirmative action here, for your better and best and highest good, whatever that looks like to you. We've got the moon card. Very good, very interesting with both of these. We've got a full moon on both of these cards. Okay, we've got the moon cycles here with this one as well. But the moon. So there could be some sort of truth that comes to light. Okay, the moon does cast a shadow. It casts some illusion. All right, now this can be fantasies. This can certainly represent your need to pay attention to your dream state, your dream cycles, also your intuition. The moon card represents Pisces, so you are the only sign so far to actually get the moon card. So this can represent some balance in your life, because the moon is a she, okay? It's a she energy, feminine, receptive, open, connected with water, with the flow of things, right? With healing energy, you know, with our subconscious, with our emotions, right? And then we've got the masculine right here, which the masculine is actually the sun, right? The sun represents Leo energy, right? But it's about the self, it's about ego, it's about the sun, it's about taking action, you know, and so between action and reception there with these two, we find balance. So this can certainly be a big key for you to navigate whatever may come in with this mixed bag that you've got with the third house, with this eclipse, right? Is to find balance somewhere, whatever that looks like to you. It's a little bit different to everybody. It doesn't mean 50-50, right? It's just whatever makes you feel like you are in alignment. Very spiritual energy. You would be really well served at this lunation to take a step back, to find some quiet space. There could be some messages coming through via your dreams. There could be a fantasy, a daydream that you're having. And the masculine energy says, embrace your ability to take charge and get something in motion. And remember, your planetary ruler, Saturn, is retrograde now in where? Pisces. Okay. So this can be where something needs to be re-examined or something needs to be revealed. Some truth needs to come to light. The moon, when the moon casts its light on things, things are in shadow. They're an illusion, right? Go outside at a full moon in the middle of the night, right? Without a lot of street lamps around. And you'll find that things don't quite look or seem like what they truly are. Right? We get those trees that look really scary. They look like a hand, and then if you put your flashlight on them, it's just a tree, right? So the moon can certainly cast illusion in its shadow, and we do need to find some clarity, or we do need to ask questions, or we do need to do a deep dive, and we do need to find some answers and figure out the truth. But the moon can reveal our deepest desires. The moon can reveal our feelings. Okay, and it can certainly bring us some sort of spiritual growth or enlightenment. It's very creative in this energy here as well. So create that life that you want, whatever that looks like to you. We're thinking clearly, or we need to think clearly here with this. Okay, so write down some ideas, get some thoughts on paper, and often this is where we can navigate something there. But again, you could have something that's like a repeating cycle or a repeating theme in your world, and this is your opportunity here to shut it down so you can move forward in a better direction or a healthier direction here as well. I'm going to leave that there for you, Capricorn. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful eclipse, and we're going to move on now to Aquarius. Hello there, Aquarius, and welcome to your lunar eclipse reading in the sign of Pisces. So this is in your house of money, income, possessions, belief systems about money, and your values. Yes, folks, this is a recurring event, a recurring energy, recurring theme perhaps in your second house of income and money. Now, it is ruled by Venus in your second house. Okay, so we do look to where Venus is. Now, Venus is in the sign of Leo. Exciting. Right? Venus in Leo can be really passionate. It can sometimes be dramatic, but it can be passionate. It can be very creative. There can be love and abundance and things blossoming in the world, and it can be really awesome energy. And if we look back 6 months ago to when we had the new moon in Pisces, okay, and what was going on then, this can certainly give us some sort of indication of what the theme of this full moon eclipse may be for you now. Shutting down a cycle. We're finally putting an end to something. At least we hope so. Okay. But we also look back to the last time that Saturn, because Saturn's your traditional ruler. And so we need to look for not just Venus, right, ruling the second house of money and resource, which can certainly bring us some wonderful blessings in the sign of Leo. Maybe you're spending a little bit of money on having some fun, if things haven't been so much fun here in the last little while. But we can also look back with that Saturn retrograding into Pisces and say, okay, so Saturn has been in Aries. Great, we get a little bit of relief, right? But because Saturn is your traditional ruler, we look back to that retrograde, and we also look back to the last time when Saturn was in Pisces. So that was from March 2023 till May 2025, at which point it went into Aries. So we're repeating some energies, we're repeating some situations here, but with this lunation in Pisces, it is a final door, a final chapter. We can get healing, we can let something go, we can finally figure We can finally realize that we have made a lot of progress and we've learned a lot of things and we've grown. But, you know, especially you'll feel this more intensely if March 2023 and onwards was more challenging for you. And for some of you, yes, it has been, right? And, you know, if I look back to March, April, May, June, July of 2023, I know exactly what was going on. It was highly transformative time and very difficult time as well, right? Unexpected death in the family. I moved, all kinds of wonderful things, but also challenging things at the same time. So things have gotten better, things have gotten easier, but at the same time, there's some things that's like, oh my God, we're doing this again, especially in the workplace, right? What does your workplace influence? Your money, your income, right? So there could certainly be some ongoing theme, ongoing lesson with your money, with how you make it, how you spend it, or, you know, how you save it, even here as well. Have you learned anything? Have you accomplished anything? You probably accomplished more than what you think that you have in this energy. So there could certainly be some sort of recurring themes going on. But ultimately, a full moon, an eclipse in your second house can bring you some money, okay? Or it can bring you some sort of improvement in your life, but it can also be a final closing down of old belief systems or old ways that you dealt with your money, your finances, and even the way you thought about the things that you own, right? So some of you might actually be really decluttering at this full moon as well. Well, let's see what the cards have to say for you. We've got discernment here with card number 10. Now, 10, of course, 10s are endings. They lead way to new beginnings. 10s can bring something to fruition for us. 10 is also linked to the Wheel of Fortune, ruled by Jupiter. So, you know, this can certainly be a time of growth, of transformation. This can be a time of, you know, reflection for us as well. Remember, Saturn is retrograde, and actually both of your planetary rulers are now retrograde, right? Right before this full moon. So Saturn retrograde Pisces and Uranus retrograding in Gemini. So again, you could be reassessing and reevaluating things. You could just be finding that you're a little bit more reflective at this full moon than maybe you have been recently, because maybe you haven't had time. You may have been just being really busy. All right. But in the energy of discernment, very interesting when it comes to your house of money and income, right? Because discernment means choosing wisely, essentially. Knowing when to be generous, knowing when to tighten the purse strings, right? Knowing when to share information and knowing when to keep something to ourselves. So the energy of discernment around this lunation will serve you well. And this may mean that you need to make some sort of decisions, but you don't have the clarity that you need yet. And if you look at this particular card, right, she's, you know, surrounded by planets. Okay, great. But right here, we've got this cloud over her head, and with a full moon, by the looks of it, partially covered. So this can represent the need to go within and trust your intuition, of course. We always should. We sometimes don't. But this can also represent that there's a little bit of a brain fog. If you've ever seen Joe versus the Volcano, cute little movie, silly movie, but cute little movie, brain cloud, right? And essentially we've got a brain cloud right here. So if you're not sure about something, tread lightly. Choose wisely. And slow things down a little bit until you get the clarity or the answers that you need, especially when we're dealing with money. Making emotional decisions with large sums of money doesn't always work out, okay? So make sure you know what you're doing before you do it. Don't rush into anything here, okay? Your money will thank you, okay? Or your possessions will thank you, all right? Let's see what else we get out here for you. Got the sun. How beautiful. So the sun provides clarity, right? Without the sun, nothing can grow. So the sun provides energy, growth, something blossoming in your life. But ultimately, it's like putting something under a spotlight, So we chase away the fog, we chase away the shadows, right? You've ever been driving in the morning, you have that little bit of fog, a little bit of mist, and it burns away when the sun comes out. There you go. Okay, so certainly something may be clouding your judgment, or something may not be clear, but the sun comes out and we do get this clarity. We might get this epiphany moment and figure out the answers. But the sun also brings happiness and joy. It's the most positive, high vibe card in the entire deck, and you are the recipient of it. Okay, so do what makes you happy. Follow your bliss, follow your joy. You could have some really good news. You could have something coming to fruition for you here. The sun, of course, always has those sunflowers, and sunflowers do represent abundance, right? Because they are the gift that keeps on giving, right? Right in the middle of it, they grow sunflower seeds. That's where they come from. And, you know, those seeds, well, they get eaten by birds sometimes, right? You know, or you can take them out, or you can take them off, you can dry them, you can roast them, and you can eat them, right? Or you can plant them again, and then more sunflowers will grow. And the sunflowers always turn to follow the sun, right? The warmth. So the sun does bring some wonderful vibes, can bring something to fruition for you. It can be something really, really exciting here, but it can bring happiness and joy as well. It is a very fun-loving energy, is the sun, but it is the ruler of Leo, and right now Venus is in the sign of Leo. Okay, and Venus is our very beneficial planet, and Venus wants to bring you something as well. And Venus, of course, rules your second house of income and money. So there could certainly be some sort of good news or window of opportunity that's opening up for you here that can be very much of a blessing for you. I'll leave that there for you, Aquarius. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful eclipse, and we'll move on to Pisces next. Hello there, Pisces. Last but not least, this is your show. This is your eclipse. This is your lunation. This is a culmination of a cycle that started in your sign 6 months ago. Have you achieved a personal goal? Have you achieved a dream? Have you accomplished something? Are you ready for change? Whatever it is, the first house is where this is happening for you. And your first house has to do with you, your appearance, the face you put out on the world, your attitude, your approach to life, also your personal goals and dreams, the things that you want, the things that you desire. We're not worried about other people when we've got these lunations in our first house. We're worried about us, right? So what do you need to put an end to? What do you need to cleanse and purge from your life? Right? What new beginning are you looking forward to with the solar eclipse in a couple of weeks, or something that where maybe the ball has already started rolling? Whatever it is, go with the flow. There could be certainly some things happening around that's beyond your control. There could be some endings that are inevitable for you, but there can also be some blessed new beginnings around the corner. But you could certainly be feeling a shift, getting you back in alignment with your destined path in some way. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to any sign, symbol, synchronicities. Don't go looking for them, right? But when they appear, right? And they'll appear naturally and organically for you. So there could be a little bit of magic in the air for some of you, but this can really be the end of some sort of karmic cycle, karmic lesson, end of a chapter. You could have learned something very important here in this, and this frees you up to move forward to a better tomorrow. But the card we get for you is surrender. Recognize that there could be a lot of forces at work behind this lunation that you might not be in charge of. Whatever is going on, whatever's coming in, whatever is maybe being eclipsed out of your life, it's meant to be. So surrender to the forces, go with the flow, swim with the current and not against it, and life will be a little bit easier. When we surrender, we release whatever has been holding us back. Does it mean give up? No. Does it mean give up your free will? No. But it does mean go with the flow. But it does also mean that we've got something to let go of. Old belief systems, old values, things that just aren't in alignment with who you are now. Highly transformative eclipse season for you. We have the Two of Pentacles as well. Be flexible and adaptable, and that is certainly your key to success, right? The Two of Pentacles does always remind us to be a little bit bendy, okay? So flexibility is the key. But the Two of Pentacles is also about finding balance and weighing up your options. And how do we do that? We take a step back and we kind of assess fairly, equally, weigh up the pros and cons, weigh up the good with the bad, and then we make a decision. Because the twos are also about being decisive. But in the Two of Pentacles, we are reminded that, you know, there's something here that is out of alignment. And you see our little wise old owl standing on rocks, but he's only standing on one foot. The other one's in the air. How long do you think that he can stay that way? So if you feel like you've been juggling something, that things have been lopsided, or maybe you are standing on one foot instead of two, and you don't feel all that stable, okay, something's got to go. Something's got to go. Something's got to give, so that you can have both feet on the ground and you can be confident and in alignment with your decisions, your goals, your hopes, your dreams, and whatever it is that you're going to carry with you to your future. I'll leave you with that thought there, Pisces. I thank you for watching. I do hope you have an absolutely magnificent eclipse season, and I will see you next time. Bye.